From a young age, I was always intrigued by the Elder Scrolls series. I never played Daggerfall or Arena, some of those earlier ones, but I grew up with Morrowind and later Oblivion, and of course was a huge fan of Skyrim. Between all three of those games, I must have spent like hundreds, maybe thousands of hours in the series in total. And I've kind of grown up alongside these games for all their flaws, all their weaknesses, as well as their strength and their beauty as games. And so I wanted to take this video to kind of talk a little bit about the shortcomings that these games have, how they can kind of ruin the experience for players, and how you as a player can overcome those shortcomings and embrace these games in a way that's fun for you. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about these core gameplay mechanics that are fundamentally flawed in a lot of ways and cause people to get turned off by the experience once they start diving into it a little bit more. The combat works with three basic attack types: melee, ranged, or magic. Now, even if you do choose ranged or magicka-based attacks, you still will be heavily reliant on whatever melee skill you choose in character creation. On top of that, if you don't specifically invest points into things like intelligence, willpower, destruction, marksman, amongst other schools of magic and skills as major or minor, or as attribute specializations, or as birth signs, then you will be completely locked out of using those certain attack types. And keep in mind, if your skill is below 30 most of the time, you can't even use it reliably in combat. In Morrowind, your melee or whatever attacks won't even hit at all. Let alone being able to use alchemy or enchant or any of that. And in Oblivion, they do a little bit better in that, but it still renders them nearly useless unless you use skill trainers. But be warned, because skill trainers are the single most expensive thing you will ever end up investing in an Elder Scrolls game. And that's because to take your character from level 10 to something usable like 30 or 40 in a given skill, you have to spend tens of thousands of gold, which can be accumulated through rare drops throughout the game. But in Oblivion, you can't even fucking get Daedric items without having a scaled world around you by level 15. So you're shit out of luck in that case. Not to mention the hard cap on 5 skill trains from a trainer per level up in Oblivion. That's why Morrowind is a lot more open-ended of a design in terms of its RPG character creation. And in my opinion, that's what makes it such a good game to come back to and to revisit. It's because your character can be focused like that. It doesn't have to be this thing where by level 20, you have this god character that can do every school of magic or destroy people in one hit, but rather that you have specialized characters that can destroy the world around them, but it has to be with the skill of their choice. And like that's what playing a role really is to me. I mean, you choose an archetype like a ranger, or someone, or a pacifist, or someone unarmored, or a monk, or a magician, or anything like that, and you sacrifice other parts of your character in order to have those things be strong. And that's what an RPG is all about. And Elder Scrolls, as well as other Bethesda games, they can kind of lose that when they get into the appealing to casual audiences and just allowing you to make a god character. Like Fallout 4, you're just like freaking blowing everybody up like by the time you get to level 20, so
Oh shit.
that's like one thing about the older Elder Scrolls that draws me in a little bit more than the newer games, is that that's what people mean when they say it's more hardcore. It will punish you if you don't think about what you're doing with your character from the very get-go when you start. But people who didn't grow up with the series, they don't want to be punished like that for, taking a chance with a game like Elder Scrolls. They don't want to come into Morrowind and not be able to hit a mud crab after trying to swing at it for 30 times. Or be completely cut off by a school of magic that they didn't think they need in character creation, but it turns out, oh wait, actually I need to open this level 70 locked door, so I need some alteration, or I need to get my security up. And to do those things, it's a hard fucking grind. So that's what's crazy about Elder Scrolls, bro. It's a crazy fucking game, dude. And you got to be a little hardcore, especially in the early levels if you're playing on a higher difficulty. Oh, and here's the other thing, the fucking difficulty slider. Oh my god, people, let's talk about the difficulty slider. The difficulty slider in Elder Scrolls is what many people would call a disgusting wet band-aid of a fix on a broken leveling and world scaling system. It literally only affects enemy health pools and how much damage you do to them and they do to you in turn. But I'm saying rather than bitch about it or set it to very easy and one shot everyone or set it to very hard and fucking put a macro on your keyboard so that you just keep hitting the same enemy over and over to level up to level 100 in 2 hours, what you could do is just put it somewhere in the middle. You know, maybe put it a little bit higher difficulty as you level up, a little lower difficulty as your lower level, and just let it help you adjust to the world in a way that challenges you but doesn't fuck you over. And asking that of a player, I think, is asking too much of some people. They would rather a game inherently do that. But Elder Scrolls, you need to like put forth the effort from a role playing perspective in order to get the most out of it. And that's like the key part, I think, that a lot of people who aren't fans or who are kind of disillusioned from the series, that's the extra step that I think a lot of fans don't want to take. But going back to the general approach for having fun in a game like Morrowind or Oblivion, I think that you have to ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish in this game? You know, when you boot it up, you may be feeling like, oh, maybe I want to complete this quest line and get the stronghold at the end of the Telvanni quest line, for example. Or maybe you're saying, you know, hey, my hand-to-hand kind of sucks, and I want this character to be a hand-to-hand character, so let me find ways that I can train that, or if I'm not able to use it currently, that I find a skill trainer, and oops, I don't have enough money to do that, so let me go into all of that, and it starts to kind of snowball from the base goal that you set for yourself in these games. A lot of times it's just as simple as I want to go out there and kill some shit or discover a new dungeon and just plunder it and maybe find something cool in there or find an interesting NPC or maybe find a unique item and just explore. I think like the concept of exploring is really prevalent in a game, in any of the Elder Scrolls games, and having that open-ended exploration along with more focused goal setting is a hard balance to strike as a character. But I think if you're not afraid to impose self-restrictions on your character or your playthrough, as well as not being afraid to embrace some of those more role-playing sorts of approaches, like what character archetype you want to fit into, and whether having an optimal build or not is really that important to fulfilling that. Consider how you set goals for yourself as you're playing. Are you really challenging yourself to do anything at all? Giving yourself a purpose to play the game you're playing, it's going to really enrich the experience for you, whether you decide to use broken ass glitches or mechanics or not. And come on, broken mechanics are fun. It's fun to have a character that you've exploited to like a 5,000 speed and just like zips around the map, or that's doing a skooma stack on top of like 200 duped skoomas, and you're drinking 4 of them, and then you go into the menu in Oblivion, you drink 4 more, and you know, and you're flying around. You know, that's fun. You know, and it does wear on you in a while, and it's like you want to experience the game after doing that for so long. It is fun. But after doing that for so long, you want to experience the game in a different way each time. And I think that's what a good RPG should do. It should allow you to experience the game in different ways each time. And I think that is a strength, especially in Morrowind and Oblivion, that you can do that. And even in Skyrim, to some extent, you can do that. And that's part of what attracts me to these systems, even though they are so inherently broken in the way they're presented. So those are just some of my general thoughts on how to adjust the general approach in order to get the most fun out of a game like Morrowind or Oblivion or Skyrim. And yes, I have glossed over quite a few details in this video, but I think I covered a really overarching sense of self-restriction that adds a lot of replay value to these games. And next time you boot up an Elder Scrolls game, consider how you want to restrict yourself in order to make the gameplay more fulfilling. Is it a little silly, you know, to do that, to role play? I mean, it's a role playing game. You're in a fucking fantasy world with like dragons and shit. Like, that's what you're supposed to do, right? But in games like this, we're kind of like led along this path of quests and leveling up where we just want a godly character and we just want to exploit everything. And then beyond that, there's nothing really there. But I'm here to tell you that there is something there, but you have to find it within yourself. And so with that, guys, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I might do a few more Elder Scrolls themed videos like this. This one, again, just mostly focused on the leveling systems and exploitable mechanics in a general sense. But if you guys want to hear about some more specific forms of exploits, Easter eggs, or even character builds that might be something you haven't tried yet, then be sure to let me know. And either way, I'll catch you guys in the stream. Peace out till the next one. Oh, chuggers for life.
Damn.